The moment I walked through those school doors in a full suit and tie, I knew something wild was about to happen. It was my final day of senior year, and I just wanted to make it memorable. The hallways were buzzing with the usual morning chaos, but I noticed something different. People were staring at me, some smiling, others confused. My buddy Marcus came up to me near the lockers and said, "Dude, are you supposed to be Mr. Henderson or something?" Mr. Henderson was this teacher who always overdressed like he was going to a wedding instead of teaching algebra. And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. If Marcus thought I was impersonating a teacher, maybe the younger kids would actually believe I was one. I had the suit. I had the confidence. And most importantly, the freshmen had no idea who I was. We existed in completely different worlds in that building. The more I thought about it, the more possible it seemed. All I needed was a classroom without a teacher. The morning bell rang and my heart started racing. I walked slowly down the corridor, pretending to look casual while secretly scanning every single room. I needed to find a class full of students with an empty teacher's desk before I reached my own first period. The clock was ticking. 2 doors before my classroom, I spotted it. Room 214. About 25 students sitting there quietly, notebooks open, looking around nervously. No teacher anywhere. I checked both directions down the hallway. Coast was clear. This was my moment. I took a deep breath, straightened my tie, and pushed through that door like I owned the place. "All right, everyone, if you could please take your seats, I'd like to get started with attendance," I announced in my most authoritative voice. The room went completely silent. Every pair of eyes locked onto me. I walked confidently to the front desk and noticed the nameplate. Mrs. Davidson. Perfect. Mrs. Davidson isn't feeling well today, so I'll be your substitute. I understand you were given an assignment to work on, but first, let's take roll. Can someone show me where the class roster is? For a second, I thought I'd actually pulled it off. Then this kid in the third row raised his hand and said, "Wait, aren't you a student here? I think I've seen you around." My stomach dropped, but I couldn't show it. I stopped what I was doing, looked directly at him, and let out this frustrated sigh like he'd just insulted me. "Yeah, I get that all the time. I know I look young, but no, I'm not a student. And I'd appreciate it if you'd raise your hand before speaking." I said it with just enough annoyance that the other students actually turned and glared at him for being rude. He sank back into his seat and nobody questioned me after that. "Now then," I continued, "I understand you're all working on projects that are due today. Go ahead and continue with those. And if someone could just remind me what the project is about so I can note it for Mrs. Davidson, that would be helpful." This eager girl in the front row practically jumped out of her seat to explain everything to me. She went into detail about their presentation requirements, the rubric, all of it. I nodded along like I understood perfectly and told everyone to get back to work. About 10 minutes had passed at this point, and I was starting to sweat. Where was the actual teacher? Was she sick? Was I really going to have to fake teach for 90 minutes? That's when I saw her through the small window in the door, walking quickly down the hallway with a coffee cup in one hand and a stack of papers in the other. This was it. Time to make my exit. "Class, can I have your attention for just a moment?" I called out. They all looked up from their work, pencils hovering over papers. So full disclosure, I'm actually a student here. Today's my last day as a senior, and I just wanted to see if I could pull this off. You guys were amazing. Thanks for letting me be your substitute teacher for a few minutes. The room erupted. Some kids were laughing. Others looked completely shocked. A few seemed genuinely upset that they'd been tricked. I walked to the door, held it open as Mrs. Davidson walked in looking absolutely baffled, gave the class a little wave, and disappeared into the hallway before she could even process what had just happened. I heard her voice behind me asking, "Who was that? What just happened?" But I was already gone, blending back into the crowd of students rushing to their next class. My heart was pounding, but I was grinning like an idiot. Last day of high school, mission accomplished.